Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. I'm with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Remember them? You can text us on 81215 and you can please do that because we love to hear from you. Or you can follow us on Twitter at Frank on the Radio. Or you can email us if you go to our website, the Absolute website. Who's the last person who typed in www?
I love it when you say www.
Have you ever... When's the last time you did that? I'll just type in www/... Nobody does that. Google. Ask Jeeves. Yahoo. So many options, so little time.
It's a Bing as well. Is Bing another one?
Bing?
Bing.
Where the
he just tells you.
Of the night.
You see, this is where we are with technology.
Meets the goal. Say, if you're looking for the Absolute Radio website, why not try this, baby? Bo, 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 bo.
Nice.
I like to get the kids early on with my Bing Crosby impression.
That's got a younger demographic.
Oh, we're
listening.
off on the road to Morocco. What a great line that is. Like Webster's Dictionary, we're Morocco bound.
Oh, is that what it says?
Fantastic.
Well, that's good.
Frank, we've got additional personnel in the studio this morning.
Oh, Bob?
Yeah, it's Rob. Stop calling him Bob.
I'm sure that Daisy, our producer, introduced our new edition as Bob this morning, and now I can't think of him as anything else, especially as Bob. I should say, some of you will know Sarah, who I have accused of trying to poison me in the past. Half jokingly, though, to be fair. She's leaving. Next week, in fact, which is very sad for us, especially as the whole thing didn't really come up until we failed to get a Sony nomination. And she's going to, is it Johnny Walker you're going to... Well, you must have a 4 year go. Is that Johnny Walker, or is it Bells, a 4 year go?
I don't look to me as alcohol correspondent. That's not insulting, is it?
That's this week's texting is... whiskey slogans.
Yeah.
I think a 4 year go is Johnny Walker.
Yeah, I think you could be right.
Sort of marching, someone who looks like he's late for the hunt.
Yes.
Marching.
My kind of guy.
Sarah is leaving for what I believe they call Pastures New. I don't know whether they'll call it New Pastures.
No.
What they want to have a look at is syntax when they're asking Jeeves. And Bob steps in.
It's not Bob! Frank, he's called Rob.
Yeah, but
no one's called Bob anymore because it's not 1974.
No, but Bob doesn't look very 1974.
No.
He looks like maybe Buddy Holly had a parachute after all. Bob looks like a 50s kind of a cool dude in horn rim spectacles and stuff.
I think he's like a member of One Direction who studied hard at school.
That's both, isn't it? That's good. That's flattery of extreme.
He could be the one that the girls like just to be different.
Yeah.
Like David Baddiel was in Newman and Baddiel.
Baptism of fire.
Anyway, welcome. Do you mind if I call you Bob? I'm sort of stop with it now. God. We can negotiate.
Is this like calling me the cockerel? Have you got some kind of trait developing?
No,
where
I
you
don't.
Rename people?
It's your choice what you're called. I don't want to get all Chris Evans about it. You don't have to worship at my altar, Bob. I need you to know that. Anyway, welcome. As for you, Sarah, get out. And yes, I did say Sarah. Should have always been that Sarah. I mean, what is this?
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, remember you were asking some questions about whiskey earlier?
Well, yeah, I was trying to work out whether Johnny Walker, that's where Sarah's fleeing to, is Johnny Walker's show, whether the actual whiskey is a 4 year go. I remember that.
787 has solved it for us. Frank, Johnny Walker was born 1820, still going strong. Oh, a bit like me. Bells.
God, that was a moment. Were we all right to laugh at that?
I think so.
Okay. Moment of rare levity in relation to my age. Bells was a 4 year go.
Okay.
And then VAT 69 never found suitable slogan.
No, I
can't. VAT 69.
VAT 69, I think it might have been a fortified wine.
Oh.
Or sherry of some kind. Because you don't put whiskey in a vat, for goodness sake.
No one puts baby in the vat.
It's
No.
nice to have this chat at 8:14am, though, isn't it? About strong liquor.
Yeah, but bear in mind, most of our listeners wake up still fighting drunk from the night before.
Fighting drunk.
So that'll
I've
be
also had an email from Neil saying, Frank, I'm depressed as I'm working a Saturday, which is a rarity for me. Obviously not for you, he puts in brackets, 3 hours. Luckily, I've got you and the
I'm
gang
always
to pull me
working,
through.
can I tell you that, Neil?
Never
Always
off duty,
working.
are you? I was wondering, what is your favourite joke? He wants a joke to brighten up his Saturday.
Okay.
Well, you've got 3 hours, just keep listening, there might be one.
The problem with my favourite joke, it was slightly damaged by decimalisation.
Oh.
Because,
More Bing Crosby material coming up.
my favourite joke used to be, I went out with a mermaid once, fabulous figure, 36.24 and 3 and 6 a pound.
Oh, lovely,
But you
Frank.
can't say 3 and 6 a pound anymore, and I don't know what fish he's selling at now.
No, text in on 81215
Yeah.
if you know the
Can
price of
someone-
fish.
Yeah, if someone can text in a better ending to that joke, I might be able to
Yeah.
We could workshop it.
revive it.
We did workshop a few, didn't we, sometime? I can't remember what the one was, but yeah.
Did we?
Do you not remember? We had a text in for a
No, I don't
punchline
remember.
for a
Why bring
joke?
up the fact I don't remember it? Is that how you treat the elderly in this country?
Evidently.
Okay, that's a panorama special waiting to happen.
You had a bit of a
Frank Skinner
special.
bullied for his lack of memory. Picture of me staring plaintively into camera. I had a what?
You had a special week, I was going to say.
I did have a special week. It was my son's first birthday this week. My son Bars, yes, B-U-Z-Z, was one, and it was exciting. He had gifts. We went to the theatre. We went to the zoo. It was lovely.
We should just say to new listeners that is the music that accompanies Buzz. You don't think that you just played Happy Birthday, do you?
No. The cockerel is convinced that I'm senile.
No, I'm just trying to widen the appeal to new listeners. I don't want people to feel like they're not getting
We
in
don't want new
jokes.
listeners.
Oh, OK, that'll work on commercial radio,
No,
won't it?
we
I'm
are.
happy with the ones that
We've got quite an exclusive clique at the moment.
Yeah. OK.
And
Don't want any riff-raff.
I've got quite an exclusive clique. No one's seen it for years.
You can say that, I can't.
No,
Anyway.
it is. I bought him a tunnel. For his,
lovely.
yeah.
What's a tunnel?
What's a tunnel?
What's a tunnel? That's this week's texting. What is a tunnel? The old prisoners of war will be texting in. I'll tell you what a tunnel is, love.
Do you mean? No, I know the sort
How
of
big a
I
tunnel?
know the tunnel in a Colditz sense, clearly. What I mean is, was it a Lego tunnel?
No,
Was
it's a tunnel. It comes in a box, and it looks like it might be a hula hoop with a bit of material on, and then you give it a bit of a flick, like an opera top hat. You give it a flick and a voof.
It goes a bit Simon Munnery hat.
It's like
I know them well.
Yeah, it's like a 5-foot multicoloured tunnel with a diameter of, I'd say, it'd be about 1 metre. And I've played a bit of French. I've said metre. What a continental morning we're having. And
Does he love it?
he did. He was. I didn't. I thought what I'll do is I'm not going to highlight the tunnel. I'll just put it in his play area, see if he cottons on. Mm-hmm. And he was just knocking around as normal, and then suddenly he just went through the tunnel like it had been there for years. It was a brilliant moment.
It's like turning left on a plane.
Can I tell you that? So you can picture the tunnel, can you? It's just like that. It's like a top. It's like a top hat
I can
with no end.
100% picture it.
Okay, it comes with instructions, which include. Let me give you one of these. Never shelter in this product during a thunderstorm. But it also says, hold it, one more. Not waterproof or made for camping. It's an open-ended 5-foot multicoloured tunnel for camping.
I'm not going to buy that for Graham Norton anymore then.
No, it looks like a keep net for clowns. If there's any anglers listening. Okay, par exemple.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
I find myself occasionally, well, not so much occasionally as every track clapping along nowadays. Mm-hmm. It's like being on Kiss FM. It's like I'm really getting into the music.
Good.
Loving it.
Joe in Sutton says, Frank, When you said you'd bought your son a tunnel, I worried you may be showing off your wealth and had purchased the Blackfriars underpass. Oh.
No, I would have bought a central reservation so he could sleep on it like his dad used to in his drinking days. Would have made me so proud. He wets the bed as well. We have so much in common. Good night.
Oh, my God.
So I took him to the theatre.
Well, I know you did, because I'm reading about it in the newspaper.
Oh yeah,
I think it might be a local newspaper. But
it's not national news. Frank Skinner takes child to theatre.
No, Trevor McDonald wasn't announcing it mid-bong.
No.
It says...
I couldn't... The fact
Is that a bit of gossip?
Yeah. They're supposed to keep quiet about Trevor McDonald's bongs. Apparently he does it for health reasons.
The elderly often do. Comedian Frank Skinner was spotted in Wimbledon today. The stand-up comic, writer and actor... Actor! I love actor! I love that.
Fabulous. Can you email that to the Doctor Who office?
Oh, yeah. Sad.
Was taking his 1-year-old son to watch the Polka Theatre's production of Lullaby.
Yes, Lullaby.
A musical performance created specifically for parents and babies under the age of 1. Oh.
Well, I know.
How many
it was
that must have been noisy.
Well, it was because he was 1. I thought he might be turned away at the door, but they're flexible. They said we did have a child in who was 2 days over 1. I thought, you're crazy. That could have gone very wrong. But it was... what happened was we went into a small... Does it say anything about the play in there?
It says, during Lullaby, the show's composer, Natalie Raybould, performs soothing songs inspired by scientific research on early communication between mothers and babies to an intimate audience of 12 babies and their parents.
Yeah, so it's intimate. A room. It's like a tent. It's like a beige tent we went into with beige... it could be biscuit. Let's call it beige. With beige cushions on the floor and a beige... the whole thing was beige. And beige is one of the few colours, I think, that gets a bit of stick.
Yeah?
Colours, people use it pretty neutral, but beige, you know what I mean?
Oh, good use of neutral.
It's a bit beige.
Although my mum's got a problem with the colour orange. She has a theory that it drains your energy. So whenever...
Is that right?
Whenever anybody wears orange, my mum goes, I can't believe they're wearing that orange. That drains your energy. And honestly, and I'm pretty sure I've told you this before, but she first mooted
I must say the Hare Krishnas are quite languid.
She first mooted this theory that orange drains your energy when Holland were playing football on the television and winning 5-1. But to be fair, they looked exhausted, so...
Is she a cosmic sort of a person? I've always thought of her as quite a tough working class woman.
Yeah, she's a mixture of the two. You've nailed it on the head there.
Yeah.
She's,
I think she's an impressive woman.
Oh yeah, she's an impressive woman.
But she's got a bit of the Gandalf about her.
Anyone who finishes anecdotes with "so that's that" is okay by me.
So anyway, we go into this room, and the actress person who sings and that comes out, and she's dressed not only in beige, not only in the same beige, the same fabric as the cushions and the...
She's in cushion fabric.
Yeah.
Can I say,
Surely
it's
that's
very...
a different sort of fabric.
What I call Yoda chic.
It was.
Yeah.
Tatooine.
It was
Tatooine chic.
It was very... and she, kind of... I can't exactly replicate it for legal reasons, or otherwise we'll have babies throwing themselves at the radio.
No.
You have to go... like that. And holds up an illuminated ball. And the babies are all transfixed. Well, actually, Buzz tried to crawl out. I had to go and get him. He headed straight for the exit.
Do you think he thought he was in the tunnel?
I said, look, when you're a celebrity, you can't walk out mid-show. Those days are gone. Because that'll be on Twitter and it makes you look like a complete monster. We talked about it.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I had a text in about the cockerel's mum.
Oh, yeah.
She rules that roost.
True.
934. Your mum must find Lucozade strangely ironic with its orange colour and energy-giving properties.
That's a very good point indeed.
Yeah.
We've never noticed that to point it out ourselves, even though this has been in the family for years, obviously.
I think you should go home, slam a bottle of Lucozade on the bottle and say, how reason you this. Can I
just make it clear to the listenership that I don't currently still live with my mum?
No, but you must. I'm hoping
Also,
you go home.
I do go home.
Can I make it clear to the
occasion.
listenership that it's not medieval Britain? You know, say things like, how reason you this?
Reason you this.
Does she live in Scotland?
No, she lives in West Yorkshire.
Oh, okay. Same thing, isn't it?
No, it's markedly different.
I imagine they still sell Lucozade in its prissy cellophane wrapping that it used to.
Oh,
You know,
I love
it used,
that.
It used to be in a clear coloured bottle,
Right.
and then it's had coloured paper.
And
wrapped
people would
around it.
bring it to people in hospital.
Yeah,
You know, and
always.
hospitals are a bit like carry-on films.
You used to get Lucozade and grapes if you were ill. That was it. That
when
was
you
the
look
deal.
at things,
There's no medicine.
a lot of packaging has changed over the years, hasn't it?
You're right.
It really has.
You're absolutely right.
It didn't used to be in
Even-
plastic bottles either.
Even we might, as we bring in a member of the fashion industry, even people's packaging. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, the way people present, yeah. You did ask for people to get in touch at the start of the show. We've also had an email. I believe that you introduced the first track with a memory of your trip to, was it Bologna?
Well, I did on some channels and not on others.
Good point. I first went abroad to Bologna on a day trip in 1974. I liked it so much that I moved to France permanently. You wouldn't have fitted in here on the radio. You have to shout a lot. From Joe near Paris. Apparently you have to shout a lot there.
I wonder why that is.
Why would you not fit in if you had to shout?
I suppose they had to sit further back from the radio. You had to give some arm gesture room.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, so they
Maybe,
can
yeah.
gesticulate with gusto.
Yeah.
Gesticulate with gusto is the new DVD I'm bringing out. Gusto is. Do you know him? He's that Italian mime artist.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Brilliant, actually,
Yeah.
but very difficult to work with. He's knocked me out twice.
Hi Frank, Emily and Alun. I've just arrived in Newquay and gone straight to Fistral Beach to experience the Skinner effect, capitalised. Only a few miles away from Padstow where the name emanated from. Enjoyed it very much.
Can I explain
That's
that
nice,
if someone's only listening to this for the first, say if you're in custody this morning and one of the coppers have got it on.
For example.
Last week...
Extraordinary police station.
Last week, they're
Absolute
quite
police.
laid back, some of them. One of those where they wear the short sleeve blue shirt.
Oh, the coach driver shirt.
Yeah.
Love.
Last week I was talking about standing on the beach in Cornwall and the as the water, what do they call it, the ocean, as it receded, I felt like it was still and I was zooming backwards, and I asked if there was a name for this, and if there wasn't one, I was hoping to claim the Skinner effect. Like people, they look for planets so they can call it after themselves.
Yeah.
Roses, they do it with as well. Roses and planets are the big
Cadbury's
two.
roses.
No, the actual
Okay.
the flora. So someone has actually used the Skinner effect. That makes me so proud.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Oh, I took Boz to the petting zoo.
Oh,
So,
lovely.
you know where you go when it's like
Oh, I know what the
Yeah.
petting zoo is.
in Battersea Park. I'd recommend it to parents. And
Recommend it to me.
yeah, well, it's nice. There's things like donkeys and ponies that you don't get in.
I had a
zoo.
bad encounter with a donkey once.
Really? What
That was at
happened?
London Zoo. He bit my school blazer.
Oh.
I had to put my hand in quickly.
There is I don't know if it's true about donkeys. Will they eat clothing?
I
Well,
think it sounds like it.
He had a
yeah.
good go at my chocolate blazer.
I'm basing it entirely on... Hang on. It's a chocolate blazer.
Chocolate
Oh,
brown.
if it was a chocolate blazer, I would have had a go myself.
I know you're not meant to give horses chocolate. It's in a Dick Francis novel I read once.
Is that right?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, he loves a Dick Francis
Isn't that,
novel.
I went through a phase where I
No,
read
now you
loads
come
of
to
Dick
mention
Francis.
it. I've never seen a horse eating chocolate.
No. I think it does them some ill.
If
Oh,
there's
good.
any,
Good, because I'm not a fan, as you know.
if there's
I'm
any
afraid.
equine types in,
Then don't call me.
well, I'd like to know about the chocolate thing. I'm fascinated.
Yeah.
Why would that? I mean, it's not going to. If I give one a revel, it's not going to just keel over, is it? A horse. You're on
don't-
about the perpetual.
What if they have
Feeding
like
the
a
chocolate.
Mars a day?
Yeah, no, that'll help.
That
Work,
gonna-
rest,
helps with
play.
work, rest and
Work, rest,
play.
play, and die. Apparently, with horses, they say work, rest, and play. And what have you done, Alan? You're in pain.
Cramp.
You've got cramp.
Frank, this is the strangest thing that's ever happened on the show.
Yeah.
Alan's
got a bit of presenter's cramp.
He pulled a weird expression. He wheeled himself like Ironsides away from the desk.
I thought we'd had the most abusive text that's ever been sent.
I think I'm going to lie on the floor and get Bob to press my heel down. You know, like they do at the end of an extra time
Have you
game.
got any salt tablets, Bob? With you?
Salt tablets would be good for the cramp. I'm fine now, everyone.
Are you okay,
Thanks
Alan?
for your concern.
That was the look. You went bright red. Oh,
A bit of fun though, wasn't it? Anyway, you're at the petting zoo.
I think he was attention seeking.
it's always fun.
Because
isn't
he's
it,
fine
Cramp?
now, Frank.
Yeah.
Look.
Oh, imagine attention seeking on the radio.
I think he looked like a flashback of some kind to me. Was it the asthmatic? Jason the asthmatic?
Jason the asthmatic that I played in A&E.
Yeah. Remember that, kids?
Nope.
I'm in shock.
So we took him to... Here's a question for you two and for anyone who knows. I was there at meerkat feeding time.
No.
Right? And please, no... if anyone says simples, I'm leaving this show. No. So they came out, and I thought, oh, this will be interesting, because I don't know what would you feed meerkats. So they came out with these little Tupperware boxes. You know, I love a bit of Tupperware.
Oh,
all together now. Lid coming off Tupperware. And they started feeding them. What? You can tell me after this track. What do they feed meerkats at the zoo?
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Yeah, so...
I've got my guess on hold.
Okay, so what do they feed meerkats in captivity?
252 has guessed nuggets.
I've got a guess.
Like chicken nuggets?
I'm guessing so. I don't know. 252, let us know.
I'm
It would have
going
been great.
Chocolate. Is it a big box
Wouldn't
of
it have been
Rebels?
brilliant if a KFC van had turned up and they'd just chucked it in?
I'm torn between... I was going to go Werther's Originals.
No, come
But
on.
no, I'm going to go... I think cereal. Like Cocoa Pops I'm going.
Cocoa Pop.
Yeah.
What kind of teeth have they got? Maybe they have a bit of apple.
Well, you can only get so close at the petting zoo. No?
None
No?
of that.
Live maggots.
Lovely.
It's the last thing I would have thought of a meerkat eating. They were loving it.
Also, how do you know that they even like them? If that's all they're given, I'm sure that wouldn't be first on
There
the
must
menu.
be testing. Like the first day they
Testing?
get Angel Delight. They
No,
didn't
they
go
weren't
anywhere
down
near it. And then they get a banana, nothing. What we need is animals. The next one, there was 2 Vietnamese pot-bellied pig carcasses lowered in.
Lovely.
Oh,
They just played on him as if they were hillocks.
Oh, yeah.
George Clooney looking sad.
Let's try live maggots straight at him.
Really?
And I asked the keeper about it. I said, it looked like, well, all we've got is live maggots. They'll just have to manage today. But they did really like them. And she said it's the only live creatures you're allowed to give to...
Oh, really? You can't?
You can't put 2 antelopes in with the lions or stuff like that.
No.
No.
Or maybe an Arctic roll in with a polar bear. None of that. But it was lovely. It was a lovely day, I have to say. It's a special occasion. Well, it's a birthday. I think that qualifies as a special
Not so
occasion.
special in my house.
No, exactly. Obviously, the novelty wears off, so let's enjoy it now.
This is
Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on... what am I on? Absolute Radio.
What are you on?
I can't think
That's what I was
straight
wondering.
now. You can text us on 8 12 15 if you have anything to say that's decent. And follow us on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, and you can email us on... Get to the Absolute website.
Do you know what I call it, darling? The Thing. Email
Yeah.
us on the Thing.
I'm trying to encourage
that's a
the
good
use
idea.
of alternative search engines. I can't think of any others you can think of.
Still no one said whether or not Bing is one. I'm pretty sure it is. but
Oh,
I
don't. He's going to start again.
I don't want it to have undue prominence.
I'm dreaming of a white high.
Start of 2 hours. That's good.
We've had a few texts. in.
I touch myself. We've had some
I
texts.
love that cover. Okay, we've had a text in from 7 00. You were talking about the Skinner effect.
Yes,
earlier.
You think that you're moving, but the sea's moving. It's basically
as
that.
it recedes.
You think it with trains as well. Sometimes you're on the train and you think your train is
Yes.
moving and etc.
It's called the Skinner effect now.
I know it is.
And Kevin Plant from Hanslow.
Kevin Plant.
Yeah. Says, Frank...
It's good to know we've got a Plant in the audience.
Yes. Very good.
Frank, if you stand your son in the shallows at the edge of the receding ocean facing the water, as the water rushes out, he will drop back onto his bottom. His young brain cannot reconcile which is moving, the sea or himself.
Wow, not only that, but you can't stand up. It's
the Skinner
It's
effect.
a foolproof experiment.
Yeah.
How exciting! Well, you must try that.
There was no ovations at the no standing ovations at the baby theatre.
No.
He does applaud now, though.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's fun, isn't it?
Oh, he's learnt young. You've taught him well.
Oh yeah, I need a bit of applause around the house. I'm getting on from his mother.
We've also had a
Thanks.
text from...
I get love instead.
We've had a text from Gavin York. Do meerkats eat meerkat food?
Aye.
See what he's done? I
Yeah.
think that's a quality pun. And also from...
If you stood a load of meerkats on the beach, when the sea pulled out, would they all fall over?
That's worth trying.
What I'm worried... What can I just say? If there's any parents who's thinking of trying out the Skinner effect on their child, if it's swept away...
Very strange statement.
That is not my fault.
Good point.
Yeah, because that's the worry. If a big wave came in, they could be swept away.
Yeah, nice caveat. Could you possibly
Thanks.
repeat
I found it a bit salty.
Could I just say something here? Bob, love you. Tea's a bit milky.
Oh.
Just saying that now.
On air. On air.
Yeah.
The listenership need to know.
Yeah.
Oh, no, the tea's a bit milky.
At least it's not got poison in it, though, has it?
That's true. It's I'm not saying it's not an improvement.
That's what Bob would say. Oh, no. The tea is a bit milky.
I love Bob. Bob had me at hello.
I like Bob.
Could you possibly repeat...
Love doesn't happen overnight for me.
Oh, welcome to my world.
We've had a text. Could you possibly repeat what meerkats eat, please? I went through a tunnel and lost reception, and that's from Buzz. No, it's not. It's muchly appreciated. Matty from Slough.
Live maggots, Matty.
Live maggots.
Yeah. So still wriggling there as the meerkats approach.
Yum.
I might try that maggot diet because it goes along with my theory of choosing foods I don't really like, and then I won't eat them.
Yeah, well, our Keith used to sock maggots. When I went, he took me fishing a couple of times. He used to take a maggot out of the thing, sock it to make it more lively.
Yeah, but that was in a tequila bottle.
Enjoy your breakfast, everyone. It's 9:10 a.m.
That might be the first ever time check we've ever had on this programme. I've gone all emotional. It was lovely.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Boys, I think we need to talk about George Michael.
Oh, yes.
He's got himself into a little bit of trouble.
Like Frank Spencer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's another driving related.
It's
George.
But not him at
vehicular, as
wheel,
the cockerel would say.
It is vehicular. Yeah.
It wasn't him at the wheel.
No,
I hadn't quite worked that out.
he's on a ban.
To be honest,
Oh, is he banned?
I don't know if
Yes.
anyone had quite worked it out. I don't know if George knew, to be honest.
I'm shocked that George Michael has got a driving ban.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes, it was a very interesting and very literal example of life in the fast lane.
yeah.
He was lying in it, I think. In case you don't know, George allegedly, do we have to say allegedly or is it established now?
I think it's
He
established.
fell out of a car on the M1. We've all done it.
He was trying to close the passenger door.
Yeah, of another car that was going past. Trying to close the car door and falling out. What about his seatbelt? Didn't that help?
I don't think there's
What, hold it? Be very careful. I'm
there's
sure he was wearing one.
possibility that he wasn't,
He's a
according to
responsible
the
character.
news article.
What about what the Sun said? Scrape me up before you go slow.
Oh, is that
I mean,
what they
really,
said?
yeah.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
I actually find it more acceptable than doing his new single at the Olympic closing ceremony. I think he's actually stepped. I'm worried. It's one of these cases where someone close to George needs to step in and say, George, you're right. Do you know that?
I don't think he can be blamed for being in a car. I suppose he can for trying to do his own door.
don't really
I'm not here to apportion blame. That's not my role. But I'm saying George is getting himself into a series of scrapes. I don't think anyone's going to
He
argue with
literally
that.
got in a scrape. He scraped his tracksuit top, it said.
Black and gold. Adidas.
I love the fact that he was on a long journey in a tracksuit. It just made me think of me. I was thinking, he's probably had his belt on drive setting as well. You know, I loosened my belt off a notch.
Sometimes you see, like Elton John was
he loves a tracksuit.
You wear like a white shell.
Yeah. He's obviously flying somewhere, or he's getting a long car journey.
I don't know if he is. I think he's trying to sweat off a pound or two.
I drove to a tour date in my tracksuit the other day. It was lovely. It was a great feeling.
Think George, though, he needs to realise he's not suited to driving long term. There are some things in life. For example, I tried horse riding. No good at it.
No.
Lovely, Alan.
Thank you.
I don't like the beasts. So George needs to realise that. He should try an alternative form of transport, walking.
If you're having
He
trouble...
could horse ride, couldn't he?
He's got those lovely parks around Hampstead Heath. He could walk round there, for example.
If you're having trouble with your horses, just get him a box of milk tray. I'll slow him down. No, but he wasn't driving.
No, he was a passenger.
You don't want to be driving at night in mirrored aviators. It's not safe.
The woman that sort of is taking quite a lot of the credit for saving him.
Oh, this is the woman who drew her Mini across the car.
The Mini yeah.
She drew her Mini across and blocked him, shielded him, she said.
And she claimed in the paper that she could hear the crunch of his sunglasses as other cars drove over them. I'm not sure I believe that bit. I think that's...
I found that very upsetting.
I think she's colouring
Don't
the
mention
anecdote
that in front of Bob. He remembers the plane crash. It was yesterday. Really?
So she said.
They say with Eddie Cochran, Eddie Cochran is a sort of 50s rock and roller.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Obviously, Bob knows.
Yeah.
And Alan Cochrane may have heard the name Eddie Cochran before in his life. There is that possibility.
That's true. He's without the E, though.
I know.
There wasn't much around in those days. Certainly not in Birmingham. But, let's say, this is quite sad, actually, but he died in a car crash. When they found his body, he was reaching out for his guitar case.
Oh, really?
It's sad, but brilliant as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
Poignant moment on Absolute Radio.
It was. I tell you what, on the motor in front, we mustn't forget. There's another brilliant motor. There's one of my favourite news photographs.
Of the mayor.
The mayor.
I'm all over the mayor.
We'll come back to the. This is not the mayor from America who's apparently taking crack. Oh my God! I mean, what is it with these people?
Which people?
They get mayors. They get a bit of jewellery. They go crazy.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Had a nice tweet. Frank on the radio. One of the good points about being at work on a Saturday, Alan Cochrane, one of my favourite comedians, is on there as well. I know it's praise, but credit where it's due.
That's nice.
Yeah, I don't mind praise for others.
It says at Frank on the radio. It's to you.
Yeah, it's to me, but it's telling me how good the other comedian is on the show, and I know that.
Someone's
I don't need
texted
to be
in saying you're a hoot, but normally speaking, we wouldn't read that.
No,
we've got to even it out. Where's my praise?
Actually, I quite like you're a hoot.
Oh, do you?
As compliments go.
Yes, it's quite
I
Cockrell's
once
mother.
said it to Roy Hodgson. He was very offended.
What about the mayor, Frank?
Oh yes. Now, where is he the mayor of?
Well, he's called Terry Buckle, which I love.
Yeah, but it's a good job the way he drives.
Yeah, he had his seatbelt on, didn't he?
He wants to listen to his surname. Terry Buckle, and I didn't know the area. It was St Edmundsbury, actually.
In Suffolk.
Oh, Suffolk, okay.
So,
more trouble in Suffolk. We had the sci-fi wars last week.
Oh, yeah.
And now...
he drove his car into a Tesco Metro.
Yeah. And what I loved about it, how people... There are some people who are very negative in life, and there's some people who try and make the best of a bad job.
Yeah.
The manager of the Tesco Metro said, luckily we have automatic doors, which opened as the car approached, so they didn't do too much. I love that the automatic doors open for a car.
He also described it as he had a slight mishap Now,
That's very Frank Spencer.
I think a slight mishap is more like you've sort of dribbled in your chinos a bit or something. I don't think it's you've driven into a shop. A slight mishap.
It's quite a small door, isn't it? It didn't look like he'd lost control and accident. I mean, I don't know quite why. I mean, I think in some boroughs, if you are mayor, you can drive into any retail outlet.
Do you think he thought it was a drive-through shop? Do you think it was like a new Tesco drive-through?
But what is the explanation? Have you heard?
There isn't one.
Yes,
it's one of the most frustrating news stories.
His explanation was brilliant. His explanation was, he didn't know there were automatic doors that would open. But why would you drive into the shop anyway?
Perhaps he was just in a real rush, with him being like a senior councillor.
I've got to get back and put the necklace on and do some work.
I only want a pint of milk, it's not worth getting out of the car.
It's like he was driving into a spaceship. I quite like Terry Buckle, though. He's made my week.
I think we should follow this story. I want to know what happened. Really.
It was a Tesco Express. I mean, it couldn't be more express than him driving in.
What I'm sensing, guys? I'm sensing a bit of a Channel 5 Mayor's Gone Wild.
Oh, that'd be
I'd love to see that show.
With the crack cocaine.
Yeah. Boris Johnson.
Oh, yeah, it'd be brilliant.
I'd love that.
They're not enough themed programmes about mayors. I've said that. If I've said that once, I've said it. Anyway. Should we go to email corner?
I think we should.
I can't be bothered with the jingle. Move on.
OK.
Well, quite the tour.
Our first email is from Dr. Simon Hoare.
Ooh.
There's no Dr. David Banner, but it'll have to do.
No, I like the sound of it so far.
Hello all. Might be a bit late. It takes a long time for things to reach New Zealand.
Oh, a doctor from New Zealand.
Yeah.
It's getting more exotic as it goes on.
But I didn't want lot of double negatives there, to mention that for a time I was a member of the British Sausage Appreciation Society.
Oh, no, I should say, I've heard some euphemisms. And what happened to you when I met this girl? And I don't know, things... No, we were talking a couple of weeks ago about
joining.
Odd things that we were members of, fan clubs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I must say that's a pretty good one.
Yeah. He said it had a great badge, or lapel pin, as
I'm
it was
really
called.
hoping it was 3D. And there's a sausage just...
Oh, me too.
It's just
like a Grange Hill banger. He says we should use lapel more often, I think.
Take up tailoring.
Which, if memory serves me right, was a running sausage with a smiley face, but who was being impaled on a fork as he ran.
God, there's a sausage making the best of a bad job.
Smiling
as it's pierced. Wow.
And you're right, though. That's the start of Grange Hill, isn't it?
Yeah, they want to sue for that.
Do you think he's got them?
What's the start of?
Grange Hill.
There was a fork in a sausage.
You were on the Central Reservation. You won't remember.
Oh, is that right?
It'll be on the YouTube.
Because if I was going to do a sausage-themed badge, I'd go for a Cumberland.
Oh, yeah.
Because that wants to be a badge. You can have a revolving, like a Catherine wheel.
That's a thick one, though.
Mm-hmm.
I know, but it's in a natural circle.
Oh, yeah, you're right, actually.
Yeah, that's what I'd have gone for. We're still in the corner.
The email corner. Email listening to the Dean-led podcast in Melbourne, Australia.
So, that was the one Emily did recently.
Yeah, it's amazing what they can do now, isn't it? Melbourne, Australia. I thought
you were talking about my presenting skills.
And I think you meant women.
But the fact that it was
presenting and everything.
I just think the fact that the Dean-led podcast has reached Melbourne, Australia, it's the other side of the world. Anyway,
you're right.
I thought I might contribute to the lie pile. We discussed lies on that show, Frank.
Did we? I don't know. I was
actually, it began as my honesty compulsion, but it became a show about lies.
Yeah, appropriately enough, with me at the helm.
For years, I told people that Scatman John was my uncle.
Oh, did we? I mean, that's the great thing about the internet. There's something for everybody. But I don't know.
Do you know who Scatman John was? The Scatman. That was kind of how he sung. And
do we have to pay the royalties on that?
Oh, sorry, Days. He did scatting, Cleo Lane style.
Yeah,
exactly. Scatman.
Yeah, I've never heard of him.
He was in the hit parade.
Yeah, sort of mid-90s, would you say,
I think he was a chart topper, yeah.
I had a lot of work in the mid-90s.
Of course, yeah.
Now, obviously, I can listen to.
You're right on top of the
album
hit parade. For years, I told people...
I was in the hit parade in the 90s, for God's sake.
True enough, yeah.
So then what does that say for Scatman John?
Perhaps he was at number 2.
So he was... I feel bad. No, a woman... I went out with a woman many years ago, probably a long time ago, and we can tell how long it was ago. She wrote me a letter.
Oh.
And it said, I was out... blah, blah, blah. We went to see the Brothers Johnson. And I wrote back, who's the Brothers Johnson? Because there was no search engines in those days.
No.
And she dumped me.
Oh, my God.
Just goes to show it. Thank God for Wikipedia. It saved a lot of relationships.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Carry on.
Well, we only got halfway through, didn't we? Last email.
We got distracted by Scatman John, didn't we?
Well, and travel.
We
have to keep the country rolling.
Music, indeed, yeah.
Well, exactly.
I thought I might contribute to the
Michael
live
was
pile.
listening.
For years, I told people that Scatman John was my uncle and that his real name was Ian, but Scatman Ian didn't sound as good, so he changed it to John. I mean, that is true. Scatman Ian just sounds a bit creepy, if anything, but Scatman John sounds like he could top the charts, doesn't it?
Did he top the charts?
I believe so.
Was it Elton John's first sort of... his first flowering?
I'm not sure it was his first flowering.
I'm quite shocked you haven't heard of Scatman John. It's the most shocking thing you've ever said.
If he hadn't met Bernie Taupin, and so he thought, well, I don't do lyrics, but I've got a way around this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing French then instead of scatting.
It's all right. It's a B-side, isn't it?
Do that
on a B-side. Everyone knows that.
But also accidentally press the search engine.
That was a Bing Elton mashup, and I liked it.
It was.
Anyway, Dave Gregory says, R.I.P. Scatman John, I apologise. I don't know if Scatman John has shuffled off. I don't think so, no.
Oh, God, I've only just discovered him.
No, I think he has.
Really?
Mm.
Oh, in that case.
Oh, no.
I've Got a Feeling was one of his hits, wasn't it? No, that's somebody else.
Yeah. No, I think it was I've Got a Shababa Bar Shababa. So he made a living out of scatting in the 20th century.
Yeah.
Well, so did Cleo Lane, or maybe that wasn't the 20th century.
She didn't make a living out of it, for God's sake.
I think that email took us 15 minutes to do.
I love it.
But I've made a new discovery. I'm going to go back. I'm going to put on what's it called?
I don't know.
The radio.
Text in if you know what it's called.
Oh, yeah. Spotify, and I'm going to seek out Scatman Ian.
Frank
Skinner
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
I need to talk to you about something. I had one of my brief encounters recently.
Lovely. Trevor Howard?
No, but it's funny you should say that.
Okay.
Because there was a Trevor involved.
Okay.
I was on the South Bank. I'm going to make this a bit police statement. And I was with your Kath, actually, Frank. And Buzz arrived.
Okay.
We had a lovely coffee.
They arrived separately?
Buzz arrived separately.
He came later.
He travels in a handsome cab now.
Did he go through the tunnel?
He had a limo driver.
Yeah.
George Michael was trying to open the passenger door. It was a nightmare. No, Buzz, when he greeted me, did something amazing. He cried as soon as he saw me.
He takes a while to,
No, normally he's all right. But what he did was he cried, then he flirted, then he threw food at me, which I thought was my relationships in microcosm. I like to think. But Kath and I went to this health food place, because she likes her health, doesn't she, Kath?
She likes,
she loves a healthy
boiled
snack.
things without things.
Yeah.
When Kath orders, it's like there's brackets.
Yeah.
Like, I'd like the Dover sole. Can you do that without butter, oil, fish, bones, air?
I know. She looks good on it, though.
Oh.
But, so we're sitting down, and I said, we're looking out the window. I said, oh, that's Trevor Nunn. She said, that's not Trevor Nunn. It's a look-alike. I said, you don't get look-alikes. They're not going to get much work, Trevor Nunn look-alikes.
Exactly. Imagine him sitting by the phone. Is there no National Theatre theme parties?
Oh, Kath was convinced that is definitely a look-alike. I said, it's not a look-alike, Kath. They don't employ Trevor Nunn look-alikes.
It could have been a Bluto from the Popeye cartoon.
Well, the blackness of the beard.
The blackness of the beard is not right.
So
Is it not right, though?
Well, I was in a place called Pollock's Box, which is an old-fashioned toy shop.
The toy museum. My parents used to take me there.
Oh, well, they had those things. Do you remember those? It used to be a man's face, and you used to do all the hair with iron filings with a magnet. You used to measure them around. That's what Trevor Nunn looks like he's been done.
Yeah, he does.
I have massive respect for him as a theatrical person.
Well,
but he has got an iron filings beard.
So do I have respect for him. And I said, he's rather dashing, actually, Kath, isn't he? I said, he's not bad. And Kath's quite keen for me to be with an arts and crafts type, I think.
Can I ask one question? Was he wearing a denim shirt?
Of course he was.
Oh, it was him.
Carrying a copy of the Sunday Times Relative Values. So Kath said, let's Google him. She's typing in Trevor Nunn plus girlfriend.
Okay.
We've decided he's the perfect man for me. She says, go over there. He walked in. We're staring at him so psychotically that he's walked in now to the cafe.
Right.
He goes up to get a coffee. She says, get in that queue. Go and order a coffee. So I go to order a coffee. She's going to me. She's going, speak to him. Speak to him.
You know what? Can I make this a Doctor Who style cliffhanger from the old days? So the Dalek suddenly appears in the doorway.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily, Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text us on 81215. Do that. And you can follow us on Twitter at Frank on the Radio. And if you want to email us, ask Jeeves.
When we left the readers, I was in a cafe.
You were approaching Trevor Nunn. Is he a Sir or anything? Is he Sir Trevor Nunn?
Well, that makes me like him even more. I wish I'd known that.
He must have some sort of honour, Trevor Nunn.
Well, I was in a cafe with Kath. Trevor Nunn was there. By this time, he's seated on a table next to us.
Oh,
he's positioned himself nearby.
He's
closing in.
He's gone adjacent.
Sounds to me like he's stacking, like they do at Heathrow.
Oh,
He's seen the landing strip and he's circling.
how dare you! I was fully clothed. Kath,
It's very hard to say anything on this show without.
Kath is frantically Googling because I just said, he's a very cultured man. I like the look of him, and she seized on that. She went, okay. She said, right, he's 73. Well, that's not good, is it?
he?
Well,
But she then decided I had to try and get his attention. She decided this was fate, that he'd walked into the cafe and that he was interested in me. And man might have a girlfriend. We don't even know that.
Can I just say, if he's in show business and he's 73 online, that probably means he's 80 in real years.
I wonder where that was going. If he's in showbiz, he's married when he's 73. It's just a miracle he's at large.
Kath is getting desperate by this stage because I'm rubbish in these situations. She's much better. She says, I'm going to give Buzz some food. She got him to throw a banana near Trevor.
Oh, was the idea that Trevor would be drawn in by the eating baby?
We get Buzz in. So she said, Buzz always throws his food. He'll throw it on the floor. If I get him to throw it in that direction, then you'll have to go over.
Oh, good thinking.
Buzz, who throws his food all the time, he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it on this occasion. So anyway...
I don't want Trevor Nunn leaving with a raisin in his ear. I mean, what about when he's giving notes that afternoon?
By this stage, he was reading Relative Values. Cass said he's trying to impress you. I said he's not. He's not trying to impress me. His whole life isn't dedicated to impressing me. But you see, by this stage, I was concerned because he did date Nancy DeLolio.
He did.
And I was worrying he had a type, and I fitted into that Venn diagram. I'm sorry, Frank.
Didn't he say that Nancy DeLolio was the most intelligent woman he'd ever met?
Oh, great. Did he really say that?
I think he might.
I think he was quoted as saying
I think
that.
there's something. I've got a vague
I think he was. Maybe he was just trying to get rid of all his female friends. That would have done it, wouldn't it?
So nothing happened. He did leave eventually, and Kathy kept saying, "Well, he's going now. He's going now."
So you didn't actually speak to him.
We didn't. He gave me a lingering look at the end.
Did
a lingering look.
So if he's listening, I'm actually doing this in case he's listening.
Oh, he's bound to be an absolute radio listener, I'm sure.
Well, I hope so. You never know.
Oh, God,
Maybe he couldn't get Radio 4 where he is in Norfolk.
3. I bet he's on 3.
Yeah. Oh, do you think so? He's very 3. He's very 3.
Yeah, he loves a bit of Nickelback. I bet
His beard is nearly Mumfordian, isn't it?
Oh, well. Yeah. Well,
Call me, Trevor.
Yeah.
We'll go and see a show.
Call you Trevor.
Your treat.
Yeah, I mean, he'll get comps.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's what I'm worried about.
I mean, when's the last time Trevor Nunn paid for a theatre ticket?
In fairness, when's the last time I paid for a theatre
Well, exactly.
But there you go.
2 peas in a pod.
Yeah. Well, I'd love that to happen. Surely, Is he a sir? Sir Trevor Nunn sounds right.
See, if you had approached him, you could have said, "Excuse me, sir," and he'd probably turn around and went, "MBE, actually, but thank you."
Yeah, I'd like the idea of you pursuing. Well, Nunn's on the run.
Lovely.
Oh, nice. Very good.
Lovely.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've had a text in that I think is one of the finest puns we've had for a while. Did M say Sven diagram? You know, because Trevor Nunn dated Nancy
Dell'Olio, the Venn diagram.
That is excellent.
It works on so many levels, and that's good. That
I've missed
quality
that.
work. Sven diagram.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Well done, 398.
Oh,
Yeah.
they impressed, don't they, the listenership?
Yeah, we'll probably find 398 is some major comedy writer
You think?
flexing their muscles. If they're not, they ought to be. That's my advice to 398.
On a Saturday morning, yeah.
Someone waits for me.
I feel like we need to speak about Justin Bieber again. And it's happened before. And
It's only a matter of time before he's falling out of his car on the motorway.
He's almost a friend of the show now.
I'd like to think so.
He's a bit like a frenemy of the show, I'm calling
I
him.
kind of feel like he's a young person we took under our wing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen my wing?
He's hit the headlines for his wild behaviour, including tardiness and fighting with a paparazzo. But now, apparently...
I love that. I love the singular of paparazzi. Excellent work.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was reading it. It's on this story. I didn't know the singular until now. But apparently he makes visitors to his home sign a waiver saying that they won't reveal any of his top secrets. They won't say anything about his home. They won't say anything about his...
Who doesn't?
Yeah, is that weird?
Yeah.
I insist all my gentlemen callers do that.
I would if I could afford the legal fees, but I don't. That's the only caveat that I've got for that.
They have to
Otherwise,
sign an NDA. That's what they call it in the trade, isn't it?
What's it called?
Non-disclosure agreement.
Oh,
Signed a
that
few of
sounds
those in
good.
my time.
Yeah.
Have you?
Oh, yeah.
I once signed a quaver. By a mistake.
That was a fan in Birmingham, to be fair. They didn't have paper.
Yeah, exactly. It's not easy with a Sharpie. I've always said that.
That's what Pat Sharp's wife said.
I have sympathy with that.
Do you?
Yeah, me too. I think
Because
it's great.
it's just going to... People, every sort of bit of celebrity stuff is rife for gossip, isn't it?
Yeah.
I bet he's got a lovely...
here's Justin's couch. Look at Justin's...
I'd like to see Justin... Because it's going to be the combination of someone with loads of money with someone who's 19.
Yeah.
So that could be a fabulous combination, couldn't
I
it?
bet his house looks basically like the set off Big. Do you remember the film Big?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, it would be like that, wouldn't it?
Stop asking me what I remember. What is this? Some sort of test?
This has never happened before.
I'll be in
right?
a home next week, and Alan will be in this chair. I'm afraid Frank wasn't up to it. He couldn't
Do you remember Frank?
But he also said, Frank, on the waiver / NDA, it said they're not allowed to mention anything to do with his physical health, philosophical, spiritual, or other views or characteristics.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'd love to know about his spiritual views.
I'd like to know his philosophical views.
His I think he's probably less Descartes and more Schopenhauer.
He's more Plato, I think.
You think? You think he's Plato?
Yeah. He's quite Socratic in his own way.
I don't know, the way he was nice about Anne Frank, I saw that as being Schopenhauer-like. There's something sort of morbid but uplifting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the subject...
Tune in next week for Absolute Philosophy.
On the subject of privacy about his physical... what did it say? His physical being?
Yeah.
I had a medical... I've had a few medicals just lately, but I had one for... If you do a TV show, you have to do a medical beforehand. Mm-hmm. And so... I had to... It's a very... What it is, it's usually like a 3 minute...
Can I ask you a question? Why has the producer got her head in her hands?
Because I've told her this story previously, and I said, "Don't worry, I'll never tell it on air."
Oh God!
So I went. I'm about to do a TV show, so you have to have a medical. Usually, you stick your tongue out, say 2 minutes, you go.
I think you told me this as well.
Really? You're really doing this?
Yes. So the doctor,
Goodbye, everyone.
who I'd never met before,
It's been a good 4 years.
He did what I believe is a hernia test.
Oh, God. I so know where this is going.
Yeah, so he said, right, can you just drop your trousers and pants?
Oh, God.
So I slapped him across the face. No, I didn't. You know, what can you do? He was a doctor. As far as I could tell.
Are you sure he was a doctor?
Well, I could hear someone in the cupboard going...
Was he a doctor of philosophy, like Justin Bieber?
Anyway, he took me in a vice-like grip.
Oh, my God.
That seems too strong.
And it was...
That's a 7 autobiography.
I thought for a bit too long, I thought.
Lingering.
Yeah, it was a bit like this. It was the silence I couldn't cope with. I thought, I was looking back, what I should have done is, during that moment, I should have looked him in the eyes and gone, sometimes when we turn, the honest is too... But he might have said, I'm gonna hold you till I die, till we both break down and cry. And then the pair of us could have gone, I'm gonna hold you till the fear in me subsides. It would have been a beautiful moment. But it was just, I can't get it out of my mind.
Nor can I.
Yeah. I think it was the fact we both had a suit and tie on was one of the problems. Made it worse. It was like a civil partnership ceremony that had got out of hand.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Bieber.
Well, we were talking about Bieber, then we had that extraordinary segue into your medical.
I haven't told you that the postscript.
Oh.
When he finally let go...
Did you say you've got postscripts?
No. he stood back. You know, when one's done a good job, you like to stand back and admire it.
An assessment.
Like a painted fence.
Look, you've built it. Yeah, you've creosoted.
Had you?
He stood back, and he looked at.
Oh God.
His work.
His handiwork.
He looked at my gentleman's excuse me. And for about, I'd say 40 seconds.
That's too long.
Yeah, and that's what he said. He didn't. He said, and no, I thought, you're not diagnosing, you're memorising, that's what you're doing. You're thinking celebrity anecdote. And that's why I agree with Justin Bieber for asking people to sign a waiver when they go to his house.
He does say one of the clauses is... You should not participate. There may be activities which are potentially hazardous, and you should not participate unless you are medically able or trained.
That's a good point.
What they do
I think he's borrowed that clause off George Michael, maybe. That's all I'm saying.
Or he could just have like a basketball hoop or something. Probably
no, I think it's a bit
indoors.
more Hoist nightclub. Let's leave it there. Yeah.
Oh.
Now, there was an incident with the monkey as well.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? He's got a 7-bedroom house, hasn't he, Justin Bieber? What's a 19-year-old need a 7-bedroom house for? Well, he's got a monkey, so that's one gone.
I think he keeps dwarfs.
You think so? Where does he sleep? Oh, no, he's in with one.
He doesn't sleep, he wanders around. like Florence Nightingale. Like the door... Oh, they can't sleep, their eyes never leave the door handle with tension. In comes Justin with the candle. Anyway, yes,
so
he's got love.
Mally has been... Well, he's been handed over...
Mally is the monkey. We can't just bring Mally in by name.
No, I mentioned Mally in previous dispatches.
Oh, did you? I'm terrible.
You were too busy talking about the dwarves.
Is it capuchin monkey?
Capuchin.
They're yellow, aren't they?
I've had a coffee, then.
Oh, no, they're the ones with the whiskers, aren't they?
Oh dear, you boys are making me laugh today. So Mally, he had the monkey, and now it's had to be handed over to the authorities, sadly, because...
So he couldn't get it through the airport, is the thing,
He couldn't get the proper papers, and the Germans, you've got to have your papers.
I'm glad the Germans are still asking for even monkeys. How's your papers?
Do you think someone said, papers, please?
I really hope so. Kill him. Oh, how wonderful.
So, yeah, he needs to get a more run-of-the-mill pet, because now he's lost Mally.
No, what he needs to get is some good staff, because he had something like 2 weeks.
Don't you love the celebrity perspective on life?
Yeah.
No, but he had 2 weeks to get Mally's particulars to the Germans.
Oh my God, to that doctor.
That is a ruthless policy.
No. And
had to send him his particulars.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
George Michael shot him in the car door. They're no good to him. And so, why didn't one of his... Why hasn't he got a PA who can send Mally's paperwork to the Germans?
You'd think he would. Maybe he thinks he's too young for a PA. 19,
You know what? I
it
think
seems-
he's bored with Mally. He was glad to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Sounds like it, yeah.
He needs to get something more manageable as a pet, like a slug or something.
Pet slug would definitely be manageable, yeah.
Yeah, a meerkat maybe. If he's got one, he's like for maggots.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, I don't like the idea of people having monkeys and just leaving them at the airport
No.
like that. That's wrong.
No.
He's losing me. I'm warning him now. I've stuck up for him on this show, based mainly on his physical beauty. But I will not have him mistreating a simian of any kind.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
I love a law-breaking pensioner. One of my favourite things.
Is this a Trevor Nunn story?
No, it's a book of Wayne Rooney quotations.
So, have you read about 86-year-old Diana Smart, I believe she's called?
You know what? I have read about her.
Have you?
Yeah.
Well, we should say she was visited by 3 police officers, and her crime, Frank Skinner?
Is that she is... I'm interested in this because my girlfriend hails from Gloucestershire. Or at least she grew up there. And there's a thing I love in Gloucester is they roll big cheeses down a hill and people run after them. A very steep hill. They run after them.
Yeah.
And there's quite a lot of injuries.
When we say big cheeses, we don't mean the boss of Absolute Radio.
No. And this lady, it turns out, it's a tradition that's been going on for a while. And this lady, she makes the big cheeses, these big double Gloucesters that roll down the hill. I mean, massive.
£7.
Cheese wheels, I think they call them.
Yeah.
And yet 3 policemen
Turned up.
I mean,
They told her to cease and desist.
did they?
Yeah.
I hope they actually used those
Yeah.
those words.
She
Yeah.
said, and I don't know if this is intentional, but I love that, Granny. She said, it's crackers.
Yeah, I
Do you
wondered.
think the Sun made that up?
I wondered
might.
if that was intentional or not. But
I love a Granny with material.
it was the health and safety.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And health and safety. I like the fact that the 2 words, health and safety, health and safety, which are really quite noble words, have become things
Yeah.
that are despised now.
Yeah.
I don't mind a bit of health, and I'm all right with safety. I will not tolerate them in tandem.
Yeah.
I spoke to a lady this week who told me that she'd had a children's party where they'd played stick the tail on the donkey because you can't have pin the wheel on the donkey anymore.
Oh, so is it
Because
like
of-
Velcro or blue tack or
Blue
something?
tack they're using as well because you can't have
Oh,
a pin
that's
in the
depressing.
vicinity of
I
children.
loved a drawing pin as a child.
You know, I've never ever played pin the tail on the donkey.
Haven't you?
That's something, you know, when they say on your deathbed you more regret what you didn't do than what you did. I think that's going to be my big one.
You think so? You think
Yeah.
that'll catch up with you there?
I do.
When you look at all the things you have done?
Yeah, but when I think, I bet that would have been great, blindfolded and, you
Well,
know.
never say never. You know, you might have...
Well, it's gone now. Health and
might-
safety.
I
Blue
think,
tack's not
I
the
think
same.
adults are allowed to play with the pin
Are they?
if they choose,
Well,
yeah.
get me an age range. Maybe I
Okay.
can still work it out.
Good pronunciation of adult.
I thought you
Yeah,
were trying-
Sounds a bit
enjoy-
like a film classification, if you know what I mean.
Can I just say that on this story of the police visiting this woman and telling her not to sell them a cheese, I'm going to file this under stories I don't believe.
Don't you?
Because
Oh,
I
really?
don't think that happened. I think...
Are you the doubting Thomas in the studio?
Yeah, I just don't think that the police
You
are
won't
going
believe
there
it
and
until
saying
you
you're
put
not
the
allowed
fingers
to
in the
sell
hole. Really?
a cheese to some people in
No.
case they chase it down a hill.
No,
Come
I
on.
think it makes sense.
I think
Oh, he's
she's
gone all Jeremy
fibbing.
Kyle. Come on, mate.
Yeah, he's going to lie down, couchant. You know? That's what
I mean, I
like
don't wanna
about
say
Jeremy Kyle. It's one thing lecturing the poor, but don't do it couchant. At least stand. be rampant. Not couchant ever.
I'll stand again if the cramp stick
He'll
kicks in again.
he lies like some naked model. So, right. and tells them off. I mean, that's wrong, in my opinion. And relax.
Can we return to email corner, please, Frank?
Okay, do you want the...
Jingle.
Hang on,
Why
have
not?
we not finished disbelieving about that cheese woman? I mean, so She's 86. I reckon 3 male relatives visited her wearing blue, and now she thinks the police have told her she's not allowed to. Honestly,
This woman is a local.
You think
you say she's a national treasure?
No, she's probably a local one.
You're treating this as some sort of you say we pay scandal.
When I saw the headline "Cheese Wheel Ban," I honestly thought, "Oh no, it's George Michael." He's been munching on a truckle of Stilton whilst driving on the M6 or something.
I think it did happen. I think that's the way this country's going. It's going very East Germany.
It's like when they say in the Daily Mail comments, you couldn't make it up. You could. They did.
No, but read Daily Mail comments is a very good example of the way it's going in East Germany. You know all these people that went and looked at their files when the wall came down and found that people were just saying terrible things about them behind their backs. This is the readers' comments generation.
I like a regional event though, Frank. I went to the. I used to go to them a lot when I was younger.
Yeah.
Cornworthy piggy roast. Loved that.
Come on, that sounds nice.
Cornworthy piggy roast. That was in Devon. I met a boy from Harrow. I pulled a boy. He was about 13. I said the school. He said no, the area. That actually happened.
Harrow.
He said Harrow. He said something about Harrow. I said the school. He said no, the area.
So you called it a piggy roast.
Yes.
Excellent.
Medieval fair I went to once in Devon. I like a fair with a Y in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't you?
Like a brewer's fair,
or a craft fair.
Pub.
I'm not very good at a craft fair.
My parents drank mead and smoked a lot. It was good fun.
Well, I've always been interested in this this regional event of. Have you heard of Irish road bowling?
No.
No.
What they do is they get a big heavy metal ball. It weighs about, I'd say, about a kilogram, and they have to throw it down the road for about 2 miles. So when it stops, they walk up to it and throw it again. They two of them often go. One bloke offers advice, right? They call him the shower.
Oh, really? Like a caddy?
Yeah, and then when they get, it's the one who's got the distance with the least amount of throws.
What?
Remember an Irish guy told me about it. Walking around just chucking a big metal ball. Brilliant.
What a way to kill an afternoon.
Yeah, you can keep your Champions League final. I think it sounds brilliant. So I do like that, and that's the thing about the cheese roll in it. It's a bit unusual. It's not corporate.
Yeah.
So I think the secret police are probably picking on the old cheese lady.
Alan won't have it. He's not buying. Well, let's face it, Alan's never buying.
Yeah, Alan's one of those people who'd say, look, at least they make the trains run on time, and then the next thing you know, we're all in trouble.
Frank
Skinner
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Oh, Simon, bad news for you, Mr. Cockerell.
What?
The cheese rolling thing was a main item on the BBC News this morning.
Doesn't make it true.
With interviews with Plod, Old Lady and her son.
No.
So if you've not been fooled, then you're doing better than them.
Yeah, this is like the speed camera thing all over again.
That's Simon in Hackney, or Simon Hackney.
I like Old Lady, to speak of her name. Capital O, capital. Do you remember that? What was the name of that Japanese betting show that used to be on 4?
Yes,
Was it Banzai? Or
Yes,
Banzai.
very good.
And there was one where Fish, the Scottish singer.
Yeah.
What band's he from, Fish?
Marillion.
So Fish had to drink, I think it was something like a pint of beer before this old lady on a stair lift could drink a glass of sherry or something like that. And it kept cutting from one to the other, and the voice almost like, "Fishman, already, Fishman!" Oh, it was one of the most exciting things I've ever seen on television, in which she won. What was they took that programme off? It was great.
I don't know.
Times change.
I suppose that's it. Looking back, as I did the impression, I thought, is this all right?
Yeah.
So maybe times have changed, but it was great in its day. We didn't know any better.
Yeah, every dog has its day on telly.
Yes. So, I'm just thinking back to mine.
We had another email in during the week. Dear Frank, Emily and Alun, with regards to the sci-fi bus stop that we were discussing last week...
Bus stop?
Trekkies v Whovians.
It was Star Wars versus Whovians, wasn't it, I believe?
Sci-fi bus stop?
Do you remember? The fights that...
Where people catch buses for sci-fi events?
No, not bus stop.
Bus stop.
Oh,
Bust Up.
Okay.
Both of your regional accents are landing you in hot water.
I think when regional accents collide would be a great Channel 5 one-off show with some harrowing clips.
Harrow the area.
Harrow. The school.
With regards to the sci-fi bust-up, there's a classic photo of me from the 90s in a full purple wizard's outfit, including pointy hat, robes, etc., explaining to the arriving riot police that no, there's not a knife fight going on down the village street, it's just us fantasy live role players.
Brilliant.
That's from Paul Wilder. That's a classic photo from the 90s. There's a classic photo of me from the 90s wearing a tennis skirt and scratching my bottom.
There's a classic photo of me from the 90s, but I'd rather not talk about it.
There's a classic photo of me from the 90s. And I'm...
Probably with David Baddiel, in fairness.
I think I'm probably, in a football shirt, punching the air, looking really, really excited.
With Tony the Tiger in the background, maybe?
Yeah, I'm breathing in really hard, trying to hold back my terrible stomach. But there were golden days, and it's a lovely, lovely flat. Okay, so that's about all from us. Thank you so much for listening, for all your texts and emails, and just love coming through the speakers. As Sally Burko used to say, now if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.